thought they did all that stuff. 5 in the morning.
In 2 miles,
Keep left onto US 58 East.
You always joined us on the radio show. I knew you were going to be incredible whenever you got into broadcasting. And then you're doing the gig.
Years, 2 years, I don't know. So, those are the questions that Rex and the Jets have to get answered satisfactorily. Peter, let's just keep it there for a second because
that's where elongated muskrat is at, along with a number of other right-wing folks who are essentially trying to remake Texas into, as I heard this morning, the Wild West. Again, so it could be that, or it could also
use the left lane.
Left onto US 58 East.
letting people communicate about the election and stopping disinformation, and Zuckerberg would spend the rest of his life in jail. Maybe that's why Mark Zuckerberg got stuck. Or it could be that Mark Zuckerberg is sucking up to Donald Trump because there is an FTC antitrust case against him.
Keep left.
Then keep left.
Use the left lane.
Keep left.
Keep left. In 1.5 miles.
Continue onto Hampton Boulevard toward Lambert's Point.
And so what's important about this, and the reason why I wanted to focus on this particular Trumpster fire of a press conference is because this is a really good example of saying a thing over here while doing a thing over there. Saying a thing over here, doing a thing over there. We need free land because it's beautiful and the people there would probably want to be a part of the United States. That's saying a thing over here, but the thing you're doing over there is elongated muskrat and friends are allegedly planning to take all of the minerals out of the ground of Greenland, utterly destroying the beauty of Greenland right now so that they can have the nice shiny devices that they love. Say a thing here, do a thing there. So yeah, we can get caught up in the fact that Mark Zuckerberg is no longer going to have fact checkers and he's going to instead have people just community notes check things, which means that in addition to appeasing Donald Trump, he's also going to get even more of you folks who are actively using Facebook to engage in battles on Facebook about what's true, what's not true, and but because there's no art, there's no independent, there's no third-party fact checker who's a disinterested man. That's what increases.
Continue on to Hampton.
Boulevard toward Lambert's Point.
Well, Argentina is like many years ahead of where America will be when it comes to tariffs. As you may recall, Donald Trump's financial economic plan is to cause you all of us to pay more money because of tariffs. And Donald Trump has said, well, we're going to implement tariffs because that's going to bring manufacturing back to the United States and drive prices down. There's no credible economist even agree that this is a thing. They do not agree that this is a thing because tariffs are taxes that, yes, are technically imposed on countries, but the tariffs are paid purchase the goods that are imported into the
Red light camera.
That's the problem. A lot of people be trying to fearmonger us and tell us all this stuff. We always had tariffs. We always had import fees on goods coming from other countries the same way they charge us to import our stuff into their country. So that acting like Donald Trump is the first president to ever come up with tariffs. He's not even the president right now, and they talking so crazy about him. He still got another 2 weeks. I don't know how the hell these people all trying to fearmonger us. Yo, he won. It is what it is, man. They acting like, I don't know, here in America, Dollar Tree is not even Dollar Tree no more. It's $1.25 and up. That happened. So they sitting here lying about these, and how the hell are you gonna compare America to a third world country? Like, we are way more powerful when they put the tariffs in there. What happened with car manufacturing? A lot of overseas car companies started developing and producing cars right here in America. Hyundai, they got Hyundai in damn what is that I went through? Alabama. They got Hyundai in Alabama, big ass spot. They got Volvo in South Carolina. They got Lexus in Kentucky. They got Kia in Georgia. Like, it's plenty of like overseas based countries that have factories over here in America that brought back American jobs. And terrorism is not something brand new. It's been happening since the beginning of time. But a lot of these mainstream media just want to fearmonger us into their way of thinking. Like, Argentina. We are literally going to compare America to Argentina. Do you hear this buffoonery?
That you're not quite supposed to look at, and you won't look at because you'll be too busy going.
And all these thoughts is mine. It is not the thoughts of the U.S. government or Navy. This is purely my thoughts.
Researching information. That's your morning update on the world news and how you're entering 2025. We're going to head to commercial break. Much more.
I'm not going to lie. Since Joe Madison died, the Urban View have went downhill.
Question from Search Kings. What strategy are you using dealing with things that you feel have been passed down?
Yes, so when the mood strikes, you're ready to go.
I feel like 15 years ago.
Now let's listen to the other side.
And I'm just curious, at what point, do we stop paying federal funds for all these Californians? And there's so many different facets to life. They misallocate all their funds, and it always ends up back on the taxpayer. And I'm just curious, at what point, your opinion, at what point does this insanity stop? I mean, if I were the president, I would say, forget it, you're on your own. You've had 10 years to figure this out, 20 years to figure it out, and they just can't do it. And it's just very frustrating.
It is very frustrating, and this is part of, with the illegal immigration. I've said Trump doesn't need to deport anybody. I mean, yes, the violent ones that we know, roundabout, out they go. But from there out, he should just on the first day, executive order. If you're in the country illegally, you have 60 days to get thee into a sanctuary state or city, some sanctuary jurisdiction, gotta move. And if you're found outside of a sanctuary jurisdiction and you're in the country illegally, you will be deported immediately. Do not pass go. Don't, not stopping on the way off to the airport. You go, and that's it. And the states that have these sanctuary districts don't receive extra money from the federal government. So if you go belly up, the state, I think it's kind of like when a city, goes belly up and the state has to take them over. We get to take them over, but now you got to live by our rules, right? The federal government will go in there and say, okay, we're going to take you over, but now you got to live by our rules. Here's your allowance. This is what you get. You're cutting this, and this. The sanctuary stuff's going. Not that the federal government's the most, the best when it comes to money. But there's got to be some kind of process to tell them eventually no. The rest of the country is not going to continue to pay for your mismanagement and these follies of these leftist policies that you put your money into, while the governor, the mayor, is cutting the fire service budget, almost $20 million. But
Speed limit camera.
It affects so many people, too. gift that just keeps on giving.
Well, Canada's floated the idea of taking California, Oregon, and Washington, and I'm like, I could work with that.
Yeah, it's just insanity. I appreciate that. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it. You live in Idaho. I love Idaho. Idaho is fantastic. Last call on the wildfires for now. Kevin in California. You're on the David Webb Show. Hey, Kevin, what's going on out there?
Mary, love speaking with you. It's one thing, mismanagement, you brought up a good point, but it's starting to be, it's like Gavin Newsom is complicit. There was something that came out about a week and a half ago that said everybody better get more fire insurance. I thought that was very odd. And then 2 days ago, listening to the radio, they said there's going to be a firestorm. How could they possibly know that? Mismanagement is one thing. Imagine if you owned a tour bus company and you kept getting violations for maintenance because your buses were crashing. Those people have been sent to prison for that. How is that any different than what Gavin Newsom is doing? I don't think it's mismanagement. He's turning a blind eye. Then yesterday, he pipes in at a press conference, I just got a message from Joe Biden. The money's on the way. What? What about North Carolina? Gavin Newsom is doing this on purpose. I'm sorry, but I've lived in California for 25 years. He blames it on the power companies. He blames it on the infrastructure. It's his job to allocate funds, and he spends the money. He gets the money. Where does the money go? He's putting lives at risk. He's putting lives at risk. How come there's no oversight for Gavin Newsom?
Well, there is, and it's at the ballot box, but if the people in California have no problem with their homes being burned down on the regular, oh well, then you get the government you vote for.
At some point, though, aren't you complicit in a crime? I mean, he's a this. You cannot, fool me once in a fool, but this just keeps happening, and he gets the money. He doesn't spend it on the infrastructure. You can tell I'm all fired up.
I know, no pun intended. I hope you stay safe, Kevin. I really do. Thank you so much.
Let's see what's on the next show.
I can hear you. Now that we're here, and now that we're in the new era. I just covered the Donald Trumpster fire that took place, the Trumpster fire press conference that took place yesterday. It's real. It's happening. There's no denying it. And birthright citizenship is something that MAGA world has been really up in arms about. And I'm wondering if you can break down to the audience what exactly we're talking about when we say it and what the heck is up with it.
Right. So birthright citizenship is the idea that if you are born in this country, you are a citizen of this country. It is the 14th Amendment. It is very clear what it says. The Supreme Court has rules in a case from 1898. This case called United States versus Long Kim Ark. That was a case in which a Chinese man was excluded from re-entering the United States under the Chinese Exclusion Act, which was a set of really just wildly racist legislation that was intended to tamp down the immigration of Chinese people in the early 20th, late 19th century. And the government argued against allowing this man to re-enter. This man who was born in San Francisco to Chinese citizens said that his parents were considered, quote, subject to the jurisdiction of the Emperor of China, and therefore their child, this man, Moe TV, was also subject to the jurisdiction of the Emperor of China, and therefore subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, such that he could remain a citizen. And so the idea is...
in reality, that's like if, I know for the military, if you have a kid while you stationed overseas, your kid is considered American and not what country that you're stationed in. So if that family was under the jurisdiction, they still was foreign citizens of China, and you have a kid, ain't like you could leave and leave the kid by itself. The kid will have to come with y'all. So I can understand they train of thought on that one.
He apologized. He would later go on to apologize.
I can't take no more of this bullshit.
Apologized like well into the 2000s.
A child without the parents' consent.
Well, Seattle alone has 2 health centers at the largest school districts that are operated by a nonprofit, which provides, among other things, gender transition medications and referrals for gender transition surgeries.
And why aren't people demonstrating those schools then?
Because it's Seattle.
Well, still, there's a lot of right people in Seattle.
Well, yeah, maybe they do.
You don't see it on the national news or anything like
He
that.
said still a lot of white people in Seattle.
Listen, there's the national news, there's a lot going on, right? And maybe it was on and I just didn't see it. Who knows? Maybe it was on and I just didn't see it. I don't know.
There's a lot of disinformation that's getting put out, by the right.
By the right?
Another thing. Yeah.
What
you know what? I shouldn't say the right. I should say the MAGA.
Can't justify that, and you on here to talk about the
At the light.
So you were disingenuous about what you wanted to talk about. I'm not playing the game, but thank you very much for calling, and good luck. Good luck living in that world in which you're in. All right.
In half a mile.
Here's a little bit, because at the top of the hour, Paula Scanlon will be joining us to talk about New Jersey Republicans registering Democrats in that state. But I want to talk about some of Trump's ridiculous comments. Roberta Lovett trolling the left about the Gulf of Mexico, about Canada and Greenland, and also John Fetterman once again shockingly making sense, which scares me a little bit because I don't know if he's changed or I've changed. So I've got all of that I want to get to coming up, okay? I'm Mary Walter, and you're listening to The David Webb Show.
Invaded. The scale of immigration is so much greater now.
We're about to dominate here with the billionaires that have decided they are going to make money off of them, even if it means that our allies that we become the I'm having some of the biggest voices in